she was not a damsel in distress. If anything, Mario was the damsel in distress.
Yeah. I liked that.
Loved it. I loved it.
There was the whole like Mario can't stand mushrooms, and there's a scene where they're sitting there at the dinner table, and they put a bunch of pasta in front of him, and he's picking the mushrooms out.
Hey there, and welcome back to the Free Play Podcast. Once again, my name is Bubba, joined with Kate. I don't think I mentioned this. We are a couple of the founders here at Love Thy Nerd. I serve as CEO, and Kate is the administrative team lead. And we are also the hosts, Dadoy of the Free Play Podcast. So
Snaps for us.
Got them. So we are talking today all about the Super Mario Bros. Movie by Illumination. And I think we can just go and get this out of the way.
Yeah.
We liked it.
Yeah, we liked it.
It is for us, Kate and myself.
Yeah.
Like we are.
It's even for me. It is even for me.
Target demographic. So, that being said, if the Super Mario Bros. Movie is not for you, if you got hung up on things like Chris Pratt's voice, or I heard some people say that it wasn't necessarily deep enough for them, it didn't go down a serious enough, more adventurous enough path for them. Hey, I get that, and that's totally fine, 100% totally fine. But for us, kind of hit on almost every level.
Yeah, I was laughing, like genuinely tickled laughing, like ha 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 ha.
Yes,
like that kind of laughing.
Yeah, like absolutely. That was
really funny.
Very similar for me.
It was funny in the details. Like it got me. It got me good a couple times. I want to see it again. Absolutely. Want to see it again.
I told Anna immediately as we came out. I was like, we're gonna buy that. Yeah, that's gonna live at our house. And we'll probably even have like a physical. We don't buy a lot of physical stuff anymore. Kate, that's where you and I are different. Like I buy a lot of digital stuff.
Yeah. Well, I only buy.
Oh yeah, right.
No one can take it away from me.
That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. We're probably going to do the physical on this so that we can watch it whenever we want with no problems.
Yeah, that's good.
Kind of the same thing I did with Tunic. Like I recently just purchased the physical Tunic bundle, waiting on that to come in, because I don't want it to go off of a server somewhere and not be able to play it again.
Good thinking. See, good thinking.
So this movie is created by obviously Nintendo, Dadoy.
Yeah,
but it was
they probably had something to do with it. It
was put together, like produced and all sorts of stuff by Illumination, and this is the same company that does the Minions movies and Despicable Me and all that.
It was such a good pairing.
Of which I'm a pretty big fan. Some of the Minion stuff is a little bit much for me. I'm gonna be real. Like,
but you like Gru. We
peaked. Oh yeah, dude. I love Gru. But I'm serious at heart. I thought about this, and I don't know that another company would have done it better. And I'm even thinking like Disney, Pixar, like all that stuff.
Nope, I agree.
I think that Disney Pixar would have taken it in a much more
cutesy,
I was gonna say serious kind of a direction, because that's what they do a lot of, right? Like is these animated dramas. They're funny and they're cute and whatever, but like it gets a little bit heavy actually all the way heavy in most of them. And so I think that this didn't need that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It was nice how it was, because the games aren't heavy. They're lighthearted and they're fun and they're exactly kind of how it portrayed. I thought it was a really good portrayal of the games, of the spirit of the games, of the world, of the personalities, and I use it in quotes because you only see certain personalities to a certain extent in the games, but it really made those characters come to life in a way that felt genuine and not like, I don't think Luigi's really like that. Like, I don't buy it. you know, and some people were weirded out about the voice, like Chris Pratt. I wasn't even really, I didn't notice it, to be honest. Like, Chris Pratt's voice as Mario, it wasn't something that I was really focusing on and thinking, is this working? Is this not working? I was more really into Jack Black as Bowser.
Oh, dude. Jack Black.
He killed it. He killed it. He was just like the best. The casting, seeing the casting, because we talked about this ages ago in another episode about the casting and what that might be like and what we were kind of expecting or hoping for. And it really met the expectations that I didn't know that I had. There's a moment where Seth Rogen voiced Donkey Kong. There's a moment where his laugh comes through and it's so good. And I was so happy that they kept his laugh, his signature laugh. Oh my
gosh. I think he was cast just for that laugh.
Probably. It was great. It was really great. And Jack Black, the same thing. I read that he wrote that Peach's song. There's a song in it that Bowser writes for Peach. Jack Black wrote it. And it's so very Tenacious D. Like,
oh my gosh, dude. It's very Tenacious D.
It's so funny.
I saw that, like, it's like Peaches is like eligible for a Grammy.
Good.
Right? Like,
I like that. It
may not win it. It may not win it, but it's eligible for a Grammy of like original song or something like that. And man, it's fantastic. Like, it's so stupid. It's just so stupid. But like, even the way that they did Bowser, like I was trying to kind of explain to Anna, you know, because like the opening scene in the movie, this is not a spoiler, it was the trailer where like it, you know, his sky castle kind of flies in, it's dropping lava, and then they fight the penguins. And it was like, well, this is kind of intense. And I was like, Bowser's a conqueror. Like that's what he does. He's trying to be in charge of everything. He wants all of it. Mm-hmm. But the route that they took with him getting Peach, I thought it was very, I don't want to say this, very aware. It was they were very aware in how they were approaching that, and she was not a damsel in distress. If anything, Mario was the damsel in distress.
Yeah. I liked that.
Loved it. I loved it.
There was the whole like Mario can't stand mushrooms, and there's a scene where they're sitting there at the dinner table, and they put a bunch of pasta in front of him, and he's picking the mushrooms out.
I was having that conversation before we went and saw the movie, probably a week or so before, and I was like, dude, like I would just be absolutely messed up in the Mushroom Kingdom because I hate mushrooms. They're gross, and they wrote that into Mario's character.
Yeah.
And so he has to eat the mushrooms over and over and over again to get the power-ups. And he's like barfing. It's so good, man.
It's really, really good. And I also loved the way they did the music, because they had all these trademark Mario songs and Mario themes woven into the music, but not in your face that it felt corny and cheesy and like pixelated feeling. It was part of the soundtrack in a way that was new but classic at the same time. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. That was one of the highlights, the absolute highlights for me was that. And the fact that the songs that they chose from other bands to put in there, it was so dead on, like using Thunderstruck.
Yes. Kate, okay, so Anna was telling me, she was telling me that some people were disappointed with the soundtrack, and I said,
why?
How could you be disappointed?
In what
because
way?
Nintendo has Nintendo money, okay? And so literally I was thinking the exact same thing that you were. I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. What a great song. Oh, I love how they weaved that in, you know, with the Mario music and like all this stuff, you know? Even when Bowser's like, come jam with me. And they're playing like
jam with me. That's such a Jack Black. Like, come jam with me. All right.
Like, that kind of stuff was fantastic. Like, how they just took all of the iconic Mario music, which there's so much of it.
It's iconic.
All of that, they weaved it into the story so that it made sense when they went to different areas and did different things. But when Anna was like, yeah, people were disappointed about the soundtrack, I was like, I just don't understand that. I have no understanding of why somebody would be mad about that, because Nintendo has Nintendo money. And so what happens is Nintendo says, hey, I want to do this thing. And then they just write a check and they put it out there, right? And so what a great way for them to do things is just through the money that they have made with all of those things. Kate dipped for just a second. She'll be here. She'll be back in just a second. But moving on to another thing, Chris Pratt. Okay, Chris Pratt as Mario. That was a big hang up for everybody. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I kind of do know why, but at the end of the day, it's one of those deals where they started off the movie with the Super Mario Bros. Plumbing, like that like the commercial, right? And if you've been to the website, like you could see all that stuff. But hey, welcome back, Kate.
I don't know. I was still here. I could see you and hear you. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, I couldn't see or hear anything. But so they did Chris Pratt and his voice and all that stuff from the commercial, that if you went to the website, you'd already watched it. But that was an over-the-top Mario voice. Like that was the Mario that we kind of know and love and understand from the games, right? But then it's like that was his commercial voice, right? And now they kind of pulled back from that, and they were just two dudes from Brooklyn, which was perfect.
It was so
I think it was perfect because it still had a little bit of that New Yorker accent, but it wasn't like, it's me, a Mario. Like, I don't think I could have listened to that for a whole movie. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, thought about it. But anyway, at the end of the day, I thought that like Chris Pratt's voice did not bother me.
Didn't bother me either.
At all. I think I loved it. The show was stolen by Jack Black in the voice department.
It was.
I'm not going to think about Chris Pratt as Mario. That's not going to be my takeaway from this movie. I'm going to think about Jack Black as Bowser.
Did you see him? The videos of him showing up to interviews dressed as Bowser, and he's like
absolutely.
It's so good. He does not care what people think. He's like, look at me.
He's Jack Black.
Dressed as Bowser, peaches, 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 peaches. Like all this. It was a character that was the perfect fit for him.
Perfect.
It felt like all this casting, seeing it come to life, it felt like the casting was dead on, but especially for him. He's
been such a big part of the gaming community as of late. I would say in the last couple of years.
He played Red Dead. He had some really good reels of him marching around in cowboy boots with no shirt on and a cape.
Well, I think it was during the pandemic, he leaned into streaming and a bunch of, heavy stuff like that. And that gave him I think he had just done like Jumanji and all that stuff. So it was video game oriented and stuff like that. But I mean, it's like Jack Black is perfect for that. Jack Black is to Bowser as Mark Hamill is to the Joker. All right.
Okay.
And so I don't know that there's going to be in the animated world, right? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Come jam with me.
Yeah. And so it's just absolutely wonderful that he was given the opportunity to do this and legit crushed it. And that it was in a movie that was good.
Yes.
Because he could have been Jack Black as Bowser in a stinker. He could have been.
He probably thought about that before taking the role. This leads me to something that's not even on this list, but it's something I talk about very often. And that is, what should Nintendo be doing moving forward? Good point.
More of this.
With
and by
what?
By this, I mean they need to license and outsource to A-level, top-grade studios, right? Nintendo could never have done this in-house.
No, absolutely not.
Never have done this in-house.
No offense, Nintendo, because I know you're listening.
Yeah. I also think that they need to lean into the licensing with their games, meaning that they create their games in-house and then license them to other platforms. That's what I think that they should be doing.
What do you think in terms of movies, now that we've seen this one, what do you think Nintendo will do next in terms of movies? Another Mario? Move out and do like a Zelda? Yeah. I have a thought. I think they'll do another Mario.
Oh, another Mario's locked, right?
Like I think it'd be done for them.
Number one grossing animated, film.
Yeah, but do you think they would ever move into the Zelda arena? Basically,
I think that if they don't, that's where the riots are going to start.
Because Zelda is not as popular as Mario. Sorry, Matt. It's not as widely
here's
known.
The thing. That is accurate information, but it's just barely accurate. Okay, it's accurate in the specifics of that statement. It is not as popular as Mario.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's not popular. You can look at Tears of the Kingdom right now. No, it doesn't mean that it's not popular. Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom. Nintendo literally, this is how not popular Zelda is. Nintendo literally called for the firing of a GameStop employee that leaked an OLED Switch for Tears of the Kingdom. That's how not popular it is. And again, that's tongue in cheek, right? Because it is popular. It's a big deal. And so here's the thing. I think as far as movies go, as far as the ability to platforming of telling stories and continuing with multiple iterations of either movies and or TV shows, Zelda makes the most sense. Okay, because it is this action adventure epic. All right, you can tell so many stories. I think you will get to the end of Rainbow Road with Mario. I think that you will. They will always be bringing out games, but you could even look at the Mario movie and go, man, that was really fun. They sure did cram a lot into that one movie.
They did.
In order to kind of keep that pace going.
I think. Here's my forward-thinking theory of it. Mario is an easy sell to the peoples because even my dad knows about Mario and mushrooms and Princess Peach. My dad doesn't know jack squat about Link.
Right.
Or anything like that. But I think once Mario, say they have 3 Mario movies. Mm-hmm. Then they're like, we're going to have a Zelda movie. Here comes a Zelda movie. Oh. Then it would capture the audience that has already been into the Mario movies,
right? And
kind of reverse. So instead of fans of the game, here's the movie you wanted. Here's for fans of the game and for people who've never played the game. So it kind of double dips in a different type of way after the familiarity of a Mario whole thing done correctly.
I think personal, right? Let's go ahead and build
this is all just conjecture here. We don't have any inside information from Nintendo.
I think that they have to do a Zelda movie before they do Mario 2.
Seriously?
I think that they have to. Oh, yeah.
No way.
Yes. I think...
I will bet you actual money.
For me personally, I think that they have to do... I would say... I'll say this. I think that they do a Zelda movie. If they were smart, it'd be next. It's probably not.
Do a poll on Twitter and see.
I think that a Metroid movie is something that needs to be done. A Kirby movie, something that needs to be done. I think a Donkey Kong movie, they already kind of built it. It's really interesting that they put it in the same world as Mario. I guess it makes sense, but it's interesting to me that they just went ahead and did that. And then I think that they come out with another Mario movie. But here, I think all of it, Kate, all of it leads up to a Smash Bros. Movie. That's
it could Nintendo's own MCU, basically.
Yeah, but how do they do that?
If they just keep releasing Mario movies and one Zelda movie.
With all of these different, even if you look at Smash Bros., I guess they'll have to be very specific on who they do and don't bring in. Because there are so many non-Nintendo licensed characters that are in Smash Bros. These days. And so... Yeah,
I think that's a 15-year plan.
Yeah.
15-year plan.
But, honestly, if you watch the movie, there's the Nintendo, opener like their logo screen. And I looked at Anna and I was like, we're going to be seeing that a lot.
I should take my dad to see the Mario movie. Yeah. And get his thoughts.
I don't know. I really enjoyed Mario. I think that Zelda has a completely different tone to it.
Yes, it does. So that's why, when are they going to shift the tone?
Unless they do like Link's Awakening. If they do Link's Awakening, like it kind of in the format that it is in
now with the remake.
With the remake, that's very Illumination, right? Like it's in the vein. But I would like to see them do something a little bit edgier with Zelda. And then you've got a really great sci-fi that you can do with Metroid. And then you can go back to your kids' movie stuff with Kirby. And so, I mean, like there's something in there for the whole family to enjoy. But even with the Mario stuff, man, there was really good stuff in there. I'm not worried about it at all. If you're a lifelong fan of Nintendo, there's so much in the Mario movie that you're gonna look at and go, and it was good. Like I heard Anna doing that, and I was like, okay, all right. So it's not
there's something in it for everybody based on your familiarity with Mario, whether you were like hardcore or whether you just know the very basics because you've existed in pop culture for decades.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of really cool stuff that they could be doing. I'm just gonna lean into it, man. I think that Nintendo, if they license things and they license them well, and they do a lot of quality control, quality assurance, not that first Super Mario Bros. Movie or the Zelda CDI games. Like if they really pick people and lord over it really well and keep that Nintendo seal of approval on it, even on their videos, the video content. I don't need an in-house Nintendo studio. I don't need that.
No, I don't need it either. It was already well done the way it was.
And I kind of want to play some of this stuff on my PlayStation. And so that's kind of where I'm at.
For everybody who's watching right now or listening, there is a poll up on our Twitter that says, what do you think is next for Nintendo making movies? And there's two options. 3 Mario movies, then Zelda, or Zelda is next. So go and vote. You can vote now.
Those are your only two options. Yeah.
Twitter.com/freeplaypodcast. Those are your only two options. That's my theory and Bubba's theory. So go ahead.
Yeah, that's all you get.
The poll is going to end by next week's episode. So then maybe if I remember, we'll go over the results.
Oh my gosh.
And see who's right on this make-believe fake theory.
Yeah, and then whatever ends up being, I'll get $1,000.
And whatever it ends up being, we'll pass that idea on to Nintendo.
Hey,